Hello everybody, this is Donnie here at Lanes Raceway. We're gonna do a little bit of a video here. I'm gonna end up tearing down this old Mossiti chassis that ended up getting really banged up and tore up. And this is a three-piece chassis here. And we're gonna put in new parts and stuff that I've already flattened and trued. We'll do another video later on about how to flatten pans and everything. But right now we're gonna skip on to what the point is at hand. This center section here is a Defender center section, and I've already got it flattened and trued here, and you can see I got it taped down here to a block. It's a little bit of overkill. I could have used the little pins here, but I didn't use those pins, and instead I opted to tape it down. And there's a couple reasons why I did that, because sometimes these pins, they go down so deep into the block that when you do set the height, which I know there are some pins and I don't know where they're at, that you can actually have it already have the height set. But in this case, this is the way I like to do it. I take the actual tech tool that we use and I stick it up underneath the chassis, which you can see here. Now this is an 032 spacing for clearance in the back, and you see I got the front tied in and tape down here along with the center section here, so it don't move side to side or forward and back. Got it set here for 720 tires, which today we're going to end up using the Mid-America 720 fish, because the fish tend to do really well here at Lanes Raceway. Now that's a 550 hub. That's a pretty big hub. A lot of the guys like to use that. Some of the guys like to use small hubs too, and it's kind of preference. I like to think of it like this: a 550 hub is kind of like low profile street tires, so you get a little bit more grip until you don't have any at all. But then the more meaty style small hubs, you tend to not get as tight of grip, but it takes a little bit more for it to break loose on you. And then also you can true down a small hub a lot less, and there's a little bit of less weight there also. Now, I'm not going to be balancing these wheels and stuff on our balancer in this video. Basically, this video is just to be made for me to show you how I solder in the bushings. Then we're going to take it off of this block, and we're actually going to put it on this block, which is a mangled mess and all got fire and heated up, and I'm going to solder a motor in. So that's basically what we're going to do here. So to get started out, what we want to do is take flux, and I got some Lucky Bob's flux here. I believe in slot car racing, this is the best flux you can get, really. And I take a little flux brush like that, take a little dip, and I like to put a little bit on the table. Now, of course, you know, clean your table up when you get done so that somebody ain't sticking their hand in flux. But then we're just going to go around the bushing here, which I got 3/32 bushings from Mossiti, and these are the adjustable, really cool bushings, MR1060A, and that's what we're using here. And that's basically so that we can set the rear end without or set the rear end height, sorry, excuse me, and it makes it where that they can go up and down in the holes, versus the ones that are non-adjustable. They fit in the hole. There's a little bit of movement, but not much. But we want it to be perfectly perpendicular here, so I'm using the block. Now, you don't necessarily have to use this block. You can always just use your tires for what size they are, but we can see out of the box here, these tires are going to be close, but they're not going to be dead on, and that's for truing purposes. So we can see here out of the box, let's see if we get it. Let me get it from the front here. Kind of hard to do. There we go. So we're looking at a 7285. So these are supposed to be 720, so they're about 85 out. And that's so that you can true them down to a 720 perfectly on a hoodie. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to trust in this block here and save a little bit of time. But could you just take those tires, stick it on there, and do the same process, put this underneath it? You can, and it would be perfect and it would pass tech. But we always want to try to get as low as we possibly can, and try to make our tires just last that one race if we're really trying to win. So that's the whole purpose of this. We're going to set it at 720, then we'll hootie those down to, or huddy them down, whichever way you want to say it. I always call it hootie, but I know it's probably wrong. But huddy them down to 720s, and then it's going to last tech, and you'll be in the race. That's all that matters. Keep it as low as possible, because the lower you are, the better these cars are going to be planted, the better they're going to handle. So anyways, let's get on into it. It's pretty easy here. We're just going to take a little bit of solder. I like to put just a little bit on the tip there, And just for added security, I like to take my tiny tweezers here and just hold it into place while I do the back, just like that. Another thing you can do too, if you're not really good at soldering and you're worried whether or not you'll get the solder and stuff messed up, is you want to take a little bit of oil and just come right in front of the bushing, put a little dab there, and make sure it goes all the way around the axle. And that way it'll go inside the axle and everything else. And if you got any flux or stuff that's got on that axle, it won't actually solder to it. But I don't really have too much of a trouble. I've been doing this for quite some time. So I just go ahead and do the back like that, I said. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other side. And just for video purposes, we'll go ahead and add a little bit of oil here, just so that I know I'm not going to hit that spot. I think I've already fluxed this, but we'll go ahead and flux it just a little bit more, just like that. Now, I know a lot of people have their preferred way of cleaning flux, but I like to use acetone. I think acetone's really good, as long as you ain't got to worry about bodies or paint and stuff like that. So I know you really can't see this, guys, here on this side, but all I'm doing is the same thing as what I did on the other side there, getting into that flux a little bit. I think I need a little bit more solder there. There we go, just like that. And that's gonna heal up really good. So now we got the axle in, and we know it's true. You know, you can see side to side here. This is a pretty good flattened out chassis. We're just gonna go ahead and tear this all the way down now. And I'm gonna go out your way with it. It's a pretty long axle here. All right. And I'm gonna put this over here to the side so I don't bend that axle. Those axles ain't necessarily cheap. I'm gonna hold it down here so I don't bend the chassis. Pull up my tape. Same here, pulling up my tape. Because now we're gonna do what we've been wanting to do in this video, and that is change it over to a mag block, which I'm gonna also tape down, and we are going to put a motor in. Now there's a couple of things that you can do when putting a motor in, especially if rules allow, which is a good thing. Sometimes these motors, especially when using angled pinions, will want to get into the axle. And here we're using a standard Coford axle here, and this is our 032. That's what we allow on the flat track, and that's what I'm making this Mossiti for. I know predominantly people use Alioses and stuff like that for flat track, but this was originally set up for a flat track car. It was one of Randy Kirtley's flat track cars, and we're just going to get him set back up here on a new one here. I'm trying to push this in without doing any kind of bending. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of finagling since I didn't put no oil on there. And that was one thing I didn't get. All right, so now I magically got what I forgot to get, and that is the spur gear for the back. And we're just gonna go ahead and put that on, if I can. And this is a Cahosa spur gear. And I like to run mine all the way up on there. Now, there is a tool that you can get called a deburring tool, and that could help you a lot here too. And just for the purposes of keeping that from sliding out the other direction, we're gonna flip this thing over. I know my block's all charred up, but for what we're doing here, just putting the motor in, it's not really gonna matter much. I need to get me a new one. This is a Ralph Thorne magnetic block. I think they call it a Kevlar block, I think. But anyways, good block. I've used it for several years, and I just don't want to let it go. I got a brand new one over there in the thing, but you know how it is. Once you've been using stuff for so long, you don't ever want to let your stuff go, especially when you get used to it. And just trying to unscrew this worm screw here a little bit so I can get it over the axle. And basically all I'm using this tire for here, and this is why I like this block so much, is you can see that I'm not actually touching here, because the tires and stuff are coming off of the block here. So we're going to tighten that up, and I got it nice and snug here. And this is just going to keep it from swapping side to side while I do what I'm fixing to do. If I can find my hole here. There we go. All right, pretty easy. And you're wondering why, well, why am I not tying that down? I don't really need to. because all I'm doing is putting this motor in. Let me just knock a little bit of the